Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. So I had another video planned, but decided I would do that another day because I'm like really super tired. So I'm just gonna tell you about my graduation. So if you thought my prom was interesting, my graduation was something. So after prom, we got assigned to like, oh, graduation is like in 3 weeks. So you have to fill out this form. And this form was like, oh, when you walk across the stage, the teacher presenting the envelope would say, oh, Jessica wants to do blah blah blah, you know. And I basically put wanted to travel, finish school, and live. And so I was there, and I did that. We also got this form that basically outlined the evening of graduation of like what was happening, what would happen, what time you had to be there. You know, they would have the cap and gown, they would get into line. So it looked like a very standard form that got handed out to everybody. I mean, we all got one. So I figured, hey, like, cool. This is like a general thing. Everybody's going to be there on time. So, well, yeah. Anyways, flash forward a few weeks to the actual graduation night. I, as a person, like to be early. I don't like to be on time or late for anything. I like to be early just in case, something happens. My family likes to be that way too. So we got there like a half an hour before like the time we were supposed to be there. And like as we were pulling in, like the parking lot looked full. Like not like people were arriving. It looked like the cars were like parked. Like they'd been parked there for a while. And I was very confused. And like my mom pulled out the form, I pulled out the form, we all looked at it and we saw like the time we were supposed to be there. We're like, well, we're early, like this seems very odd. So anyways, we park, my brother, my mom and dad, and me go into the school. And one of the teachers, or was it the VP? Could have been the VP, was like, you're late. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? Like, everybody's waiting. Like, let's go. And, like, my parents and my brother got ushered into the kind of gym area. Not the gym. The auditorium. And I got ushered into, like, this classroom. Everybody was there in the cap and gown already. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Like, I know how to tell time. Like, it said on this form, like, we were literally a half an hour early. Like, this doesn't make sense. But I was like, okay, whatever. So I got handed my cap and gown. I got like my cap on and zipped up my gown, and they're like, okay, you have to go into the other side of the room because we're going in alphabetical order. Go there. And I'm like halfway across, and all I hear is the cunt can't tell time. And my hand made contact with something. I was like, whoa, what the, like, it was just like, so I turned around and like it was a hard smack. Like it was like that loud. And I looked and it was my ex's brother who said that. And I ended up backhanding this man. And the teacher like grabbed me and was like, get into line. I'm just like, what? You're not even gonna say anything? Like this man just called me a cunt and you're just gonna be like, they're like, well, we can't suspend you because school's almost done. Just get into line and we'll deal with this later. I'm just like, whatever. So I'm getting into line. And, I'm just like, okay, first of all, I'm pissed off because somehow the time got fucked up. And that wasn't like my fault, my family's fault. It was like we saw in the form. Like this was a generic form that got sent out. So I don't know what the fuck happened. Story of my life when it came to the school. And like I was pissed because I got called the C word for like the millionth time, but I was actually kind of proud of myself. So I was like, you know what, I smacked him. I know that's not like a classy thing or not a nice thing to do, but man, that boy had it coming, and I was just happy about it. So I was just minding my own business, smiling, because like I was proud of myself. I was like, yeah, about damn time, Jess. Like, atta girl. You ain't gonna stand for that bullshit on your graduation day. So I was just standing there, minding my own business. And all of a sudden, I hear, look, boys, the cunt didn't hang herself. That's a shame. So how it went was my ex and his brother were like at the front of the line. I was in the middle, and the rest of the dudes were like behind me or like at the very back. So I was in the middle of this treeho? What the? Triangle of like crap. Anyways, I was just in the middle of all this nastiness. Good English. Anyways, so I ignored it. I was like, you know what? Whatever. And the person behind me was just like, just ignore them. Like, this is just bullshit. They knew they were talking to me because they've said that out millions of times in classrooms, in the hallways. Like, this was nothing new to anybody. Like, this wasn't like a, oh my God. Like, this was just like a, oh, this is like a common thing. Just ignore it. Like, it didn't faze anybody. So, like, I'm just like standing there, and like the staff that was in there said nothing, and they went into the hall to like, I guess, just excuse themselves from the situation because it was so awkward for them, and also to see like if it was time to usher us in. So like I just like ignored it, and like it was just like infuriating, you know? Like, I was like, you know what? I made a promise to myself that I wasn't gonna let them, you know, fuck me over tonight. So I was like, okay, you know what? Whatever. So the teachers usher us in, and it was really fucking weird how they had us seated. I'm not gonna lie, like, it was really fucking strange. Like, we were all in alphabetical order, but the way that they had us seated, because they used like 3 rows, I ended up being near all of them. So my ex and his brother were like 3 seats, like 3 seats. Well, yeah, basically, not even ahead of me. And then like the rest of them were behind me, like literally behind me. I'm like, this is just okay. So like everybody's talking and shit. Hot, yeah, okay. And like I'm not even fucking paying attention, guys. At this point, I'm just like, you know what? I want to just up and leave. Like, I want to like literally just fucking up and leave. Like, walk out. I don't give a shit about my diploma anymore. Like, it will be mailed to me. Like, I don't give a fuck. I'm like looking for the closest exit. Behind me, I didn't even notice. They were showing our like kindergarten picture versus our grade 12 picture. I pop up on screen. Okay, and I mean, it's not the most flattering. Like, you're like, what, 6? So, like, I had, like, a coconut haircut. Like, I had this, like, really flowery dress on. I'm like, okay, whatever. Like, I look cute. I mean, it wasn't, like, you know, that bad. And then my graduation picture. And my graduation picture, I was a little bit heavier by this time because of, like, my depression and anxiety. Like, I put on some weight, but it wasn't like a super amount. So like from the time the abuse started to like it ended, so like when it started, I was 90 pounds. I got down to 90 pounds. And then like when I graduated, I think I was like 130-ish. I don't know. I was a little bit more heavier. Anyways, so like somebody pulled on my graduation thingy-mabobber. Gown. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. And I looked around, and it was like this guy who I went to middle school with, that we went to the same high school, and then he hooked up with my ex and his brother and his friends, and he just went down the shitter. But anyways, that's a whole other video. And he's like, oh, there's innocent Jess. I was like, okay. And like I could hear the laughter. Like, it wasn't like just him saying it. There was laughter up in front of me. I'm like, you know what? Fuck my life. Whatever. And he's like, oh, well, we took that away from you, didn't we? We ruined you. Nobody's gonna love you. Nobody's gonna want you. Don't fuck up walking across that stage. People are gonna laugh at you. And I'm just like, you know what? Just fuck off. And I like nudged my seat a little bit. It made a lot of noise, but I don't give a fuck. a teacher saw me. I was like, fuck that. I am not moving my seat. Like, screw you. Like, no. Anyways, so we get up and we start lining up. The girl next to me passes out. It was hot. It was hot in there. And these robes were fucking heavy as shit. So a girl passes out beside me. I'm like, this is fucking great. I walk across the stage. And, like, the teacher's like, oh, and Jess wants to, you know, travel and finish school. And, oh, Liv. Okay, that's good. And, like, he said it, like, nonchalant. I'm like, okay. Here, like, and so you go to, like, the principal, the president, principal, and, like, a few other, like, I think there was, like, my counselor there, and then, like, some other people. And, like, you go shake their hand, you take a picture, blah, blah, blah. So I go and shake everybody's hand. So the principal said, well, at least you made it. The VP said, you could have done better. My counselor's just like, I'm glad you're alive. And then, like, the other, like, 2 or 3 people, like, I shook hands with didn't even say a word. They just looked at me, like, disgustingly. Like, oh my god, like, I have to shake a hand type of thing. And that's just not me exaggerating. This is just fact. So I get my certificate, go around, go and sit back. And of course, you know, like, I'm halfway done. Like, halfway done. Like, we're halfway done. So I'm, like, in the halfway point. So I know we're going to be there for, like, another hour going through all these other names. And it was just, I just wanted to get up. So, like, I wanted to leave. I get up, and there's a teacher, like, watching the aisles. And I said, oh, can I leave? Can I go get my pants and can I leave? I don't want to stay any longer. They're like, well, why don't you want to stay with your class? I'm just like, don't want to sit here and deal with the abuse. Like, I'm done. Like, I graduated, got my certificate. I want to just leave the situation and just, that's how it is. You're not allowed to do that, and just stop being dramatic. I'm just like, this is my personal choice. I want to leave. They're like, well, you can't. You're not allowed to. So go sit down and just stop being dramatic and looking for attention. I'm like, okay, fine. Fuck my life. Fucking hard. So I go and sit back down. And so, like, I'm just sitting here. And every so often, like, my ex and his brother would, like, look back and just, like, make, like, really weird, like, things. And I'm like, this is just fucking great. Like, fuck it. Like, you know what? Just ignore it. Like, just, like, be in your own bubble, look at your certificate, just ignore the whole situation. Then my ear gets pulled. I'm just like, what the fine Jesus? Like, what? And I turn around, and it's one of them. And, like, he comes up really close. I'm like, personal space. And he licks my ear. Licks it. In front of everybody. Granted, the parents are at the front. He licks my fucking ear. And goes like, oh, you're gonna miss this. We're gonna have to find you another way. I'm like, oh. Like, what? I was like, fuck. And I shoved him. And he fell off his chair. A teacher came over. She's like, what did you do that for? I was like, he licked my goddamn ear. She's like, oh, stop being ridiculous. I'm just like, fuck, whatever. Like, I was just like, oh my god, this is just so gross. Like, I wanted to take a shower. So, like, eventually it fucking ends. I bolt out of my seat, find my parents. I was like, we need to leave. They're like, oh, don't you want to take pants? I'm like, we need to fucking leave now. So we're, like, walking down this hall. I'm like, so you might get a phone call. We still had, like, 3-4 days of school left. Mom's like, why? I'm like, I smacked one of the twins. So my ex and his brother were twins. Let's not get into that just yet, okay? And my dad's like, not now. I was like, what? Why? And he, like, came up, like, really, like, close. He's like, the parents are in front of us. shit. That's awkward. I don't give a shit. I was like, okay. Well, and I said it kind of loud. I'm like, they called me a cunt and said I should die. And that was it. We walked in silence. We went out the door. I went to my vehicle with my parents, and they went somewhere. And, like, I just remember getting in the car. And then just kind of being proud of myself. I was like, you know what? I fucking stuck up for myself. Like, that's pretty awesome. Like, if you ask me, like, I think I did pretty good. Got home, got upstairs, got changed, and I didn't bring my phone with me at the time. And there's a whole video I want to do on this. I mentioned it a few times in the video, but I want to actually go into detail with this program. Because I actually didn't know this existed. I thought this was all in my fucking head. But apparently, you can type in your phone number to this, or type in the phone number you want to text, and, like, it will text from a different number. So it won't be their number, it would be another number. I didn't know programs like this existed. I'm not, like, high-tech and advanced in that. But I actually looked into this, and this is, like, a real thing. So I'm going to do a whole video on this, because this is a whole fucking thing that ties into, like, everything. So anyway, so I look at my phone. 17 different texts from different fucking numbers off the yin yang. And I'm just like, what the fuck? It's like, why aren't you picking up your phone? Why aren't you answering me? Blah, blah, blah. You looked cute. Oh, don't take them seriously. And it's just like, oh my God, just like, it just went on and on and on. And some of them like, you should kill yourself. Like, you're going to pay for hitting me. Like, well, it was just, oh my God. I was just like, oh God, here we go again. But like, again, like, I want to get into that whole, like, thing, because it goes, like, trust me, there's a whole thing that I want to get into. But yeah, that was my graduation story. Like, after I saw those texts, like, I turned off my phone and just laid in bed, because I was like, you know what? High five to me. Like, I put my foot down and said, no, I'm not going to deal with any of this stuff anymore. So yeah, that's my graduation story. Thank you for listening. I appreciate you guys, and I appreciate all the views and the love and the support. Like I said, there's many stories. Some of them are sad, some of them are interesting. Some of them, like, I had to learn along the way. Like, this whole, like, texting thing. Jesus, that's a whole video. And so, yeah, and I also want to, like, bring you guys along on my journey thus far. Like, you know, those videos I've put on of, like, you know, learning from my past and, like, getting to know me and all that stuff. But I'd like to, like, just kind of go more in depth of stuff of, like, now. So yeah, but anyways, guys, until our next video, never give up, always keep fighting, you're enough, and you are very much loved. Until then, guys, I love you, and see you in the next video. There we go.